John Green was involved in the union known as the Rednecks, which was a union. They wore red bandanas around their neck for solidarity.
The issues that plagued the coal miners were issues that affected, some of which affected all laborers in that time period. It was financial, with low wages, a few jobs outside the coal industry. There were no minimum wage or hazardous pay for the coal miners, no safety laws, no health insurance. The underground, because they were working underground, there were a lot of hazards with those, which included roof collapse, gas exposure or explosions. There was no injury insurance and nothing to help with the widows and children of miners who were killed in the mines. One of the major diseases that coal miners got was black lung disease, which affected their breathing, and in our case, John's father died of black lung when he was 43 years old.
He took part in the strikes for better treatment from the mining companies, one of which even escalated to them fighting off the temporary workers known as scabs to keep the coal mine shut down. That, of course, caused the state police to be called, and they came out, and the Rednecks were able to chase off the state police. And when they chased them off, then the governor of the state, he called in the National Guard.
Had about an 8th grade education, I think, but somewhere, maybe through a correspondence course, he got trained as a surveyor. And he was working for a company named Hardy Brothers, surveyors and auctioneers. Then moved through the South, and that's how he got to Fort Meade. Florida was experiencing a land boom, and people were buying land in Florida, and the prices, which had been very low, were going up. The Hardy Brothers had worked throughout the South, and so John had worked in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and then into Florida surveying. One of the places that I remember them talking about that they auctioned was the land around Lake Hollingsworth in Lakeland. And we would joke about, we wish we had that land now, because Florida Southern College, First Presbyterian Church, and a lot of expensive housings are located in that land.
John Green was attacked when he was working for a phosphate company here in Florida, out in Polk County. And what they were doing was they were buying up property that was ranch land. There was miles and miles of ranch land out there back in those days. And they would buy the land and then mine it. Well, John Green went out one day to survey one of those properties, and he ran into a couple cowboys, I think it was 2, and it quickly turned physical, and they got into a fight. And one of the cowboys decided he needed to shoot him, so he pulled out a pistol and he shot John Green in the hip, where it came out, traveled down his leg and came out his foot. Well, he picked himself up and he got back in his car and he drove home, washed it out, probably had a house call from a doctor, and then within a day or 2 he had gone to a hardware store and bought 2 pistols, carried one of each in his front pockets until the day he died.
John, he may have had other health problems, but I do know that he had pancreatic cancer, and he probably had had it for over a year. Pancreatic cancer, there is no early symptoms. Even today, there's not early diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. And so it's usually pretty well advanced by the time it is diagnosed. There are no specific symptoms for pancreatic cancer. It is a very painful disease when it reaches its final stages. The circumstances surrounding John Green's death, is he was at home, and George remembered and was had a great deal of difficulty with his father's death, because George had been in college and he came home, I guess, for Easter. And when he walked in the house, he heard his father crying out in pain. And that was his last vivid memory of his dad. Dad died the next day. John's parents, neither one could read or write, listed that way on the census. But John must have been a smart man, and his 3 sons all graduated from college, and 2 of those sons got master's degrees in their fields.